Hi everybody, Anne Bounty from Said With Love and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the Barn Star Sampler month 6. So if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to the channel, press like, make a comment, tell me what you think and what you'd like to see more of. So the next month of Barn Star Sampler is the Moroccan Star, and it's another medium-sized block. I won't say it's small yet, but it's medium-sized, not as big as those first few months. And these are my blocks from last month, the Northern Star ones, which I've been really enjoying. Can't wait to see them put together with all the rest of the blocks and to start getting our quilt top not sewn together, but laid out together so we can have a good look at it. So I'm going to do my fabric pull for the Moroccan Star, and I've had Tula Pink's Everglow arrive with those amazing animal prints. So I'm going to see whether I can sneak a few of those into my quilt because I think it's just so gorgeous. So if you haven't seen Everglow yet, get online, get to a shop, have a look. The animal prints especially, the neon dots and stripes and fairy flakes, I think is the other print, are all lovely, but the animals are amazing, which is what Tula's known for. So I better get to my fabric pull and showing you what I've chosen. So welcome to month 6 of the Barn Star Sampler, and this month is the Moroccan Star block. And this one's gonna look stunning with some different fabrics that I've seen people using in our Facebook quilting and sew along group. I had some fun because Tula Pink's Everglow has arrived, so I'm going to incorporate some of those prints into this block, and I had a bit of fun thinking about it. So let me show you what my fabric pull is. Okay, so let me just pull these over a bit. Get my little design board out. So this is going to be my first month that I'm going to do a dark background. So my normal background is this grey textured print, which has been lovely, and I'll continue to use that on quite a few of the rest of the blocks. But I just thought now was an opportunity when the Everglow fairy flakes in the varying colours came out, because it's got this lovely darker grey, but it's also got the greens, and there's another one in purple and pinks and all the rest of it. So that's going to be my background print for this month. And this is going to be so this one's going to be that darker one around the outside, and this standard background is going to be this inner one here to make that center really pop. And I'm going to use my lions. This print, well, all of the animal prints from Everglow I've just loved. That's when I fell in love with Tula Pink, was her animals. I don't like the people ones that she does, but I love the animal prints because the detail is fantastic. So this lion, I'm going to do a little bit of fussy cutting because I want him to be this square but on point around the edges. So I'm going to fussy cut that. I've just got my little block ruler, but just sort of working out where I'll be able to fussy cut it, and I think it's going to look fantastic. He's going to be nice and centered in that. So that's what this fabric is going to be. Let me just get him out of the way now. And then, I think that was B. The prints out here, which is in Shelley's book, the same fabric, I am going to still use that same fabric, but I'm going to not use the lions so much as this background greeny sort of color, because we've got the darker gray for this block. Having a lighter print on this outer one's not going to be too much of a problem. It's going to have high contrast, so that's what I'm going to do for that. My lighter print here for those triangles, I'm going to use the hippopotamus print. I'm actually going to try not to use too many of the hippopotamuses. I'm going to try and do my cutting out here, which is the fish or his feet when he's in the thing, because I just love those hippopotamuses. I think fussy cutting those for something else will be fantastic. So pop my little hippos away. And so then we have the center print and these squares around the outside. Because we've got sort of a bit of this goldy, greeny, lightish green for on the lion, I thought I might fussy cut for these darker corner squares just the little Celtic knot part of this bird print. Because it's got that yellowy gold, it'll pick up that. It's also got the sort of darker greens that'll sort of be picked up as well. So I think that'll look cool. And I'll use this lovely green geo for my center block as well, because that'll show up nicely against that light pale grey. So I think this could be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to playing with the lion and doing that fussy cutting on point. So that's my first block. And you guessed it, my second block is going to be pinks and purples. Okay, so the other print, Fairy Flakes print that I'm going to use is the purpley one. Again, it's actually a grey, I think. Let's have a quick squiz comparing. It's more of a purpley grey than a grey, but I think I'll still use it. I think it looks fantastic. So I think I'll use that as my background print. I'm going to use this fantastic print from, gosh, was that Parisville? Oh, now I'm questioning myself, aren't I? Find that selvage. Yes, Parisville. That was from Parisville. I'm going to use that print for the outside bits and the square on the outside. My beautiful, beautiful, beautiful elephant. I'm going to fussy cut him or her. Maybe she's a she with all that beautiful floral pink right in the center. But I didn't really want to sort of try and fussy cut anything from the background of that fabric. I really want to keep my elephants intact. So I'm going to use this other print from Parisville. And I'm not quite sure whether I'll use this center bit or I'll try and cut more of the pinky. I might do more of the pinky bits for those corners. And then I'm going to use the purple geo for this lovely background, well, the triangles, the lighter triangles. The same little background grey that I've used in the past is going to be in the middle. So that's going to be my purpley kind of pink block, which I think should look fantastic. And seriously, these elephants, let me show you these elephants. They are so cute. Such gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. So that's my plan. Now I better go and start doing it. So I've finally got everything cut out for my first block for month 6. However, I had to do a few tweaks and changes. I was going to use my hippopotamus fabric. I was going to do my fussy cutting of the hippopotamus fish, but the pieces that I needed to cut out were sort of a little bit too big, and it was going to make too much Swiss cheese, and I was going to cut into my hippos, and so I just scotched that idea. I'm going to keep my hippo print for something else. And I replaced it with this quite vibrant tiny stripe, and it has actually got the little minty blue from the lion, and of course this citrus is also in his face and in some of the flowers and things. So I think it's going to make a real punch. It's also in my little Celtic knots as well. So I thought that one fitted out quite well. So I made a few changes to the cutting instructions in the pattern because I'm going to do 4 at a time flying geese. I've got a link in the caption below to how to cut those out for the different sizes flying geese. But I much prefer making them oversized, trimming them down to just the exact size, and that is going to pack a punch. So I also made a small change to the pinky purple block cutting as well. Again, I'm doing the 4 at a time flying geese. I cut the larger squares into triangles to do my square and a square, but I flipped where my fabric was going to be. So I was going to use this darker fabric for for the outside part of this block. But because I'm having this darker fabric as my background, I felt that this might be just not enough contrast. So I'm putting the purple geo out as this outer side so that it's going to have quite a bit of contrast, and using this darker print then for what is light in this block. So I'm just doing a bit of a flip round. So hopefully that will look good too. Okay, off to the sewing machine. So for the on point squares here around the outside of this block, I wanted to fussy cut my lions from Everglow. And look, there are lots of different ways of doing fussy cutting, and I use quite a few different methods depending on the size, the shape, and what I'm doing it for, whether it's for EPP or for something like this where I'm trying to fussy position it in the block. So I've decided I'm going to use the Fat Quarter Shop's Square and a Square foundation paper piecing papers, which are fantastic. Very handy, always get a perfect size block, but you know, I need to fussy cut that center part out, which is a little hard. So what I've done is actually cut one of them out so that the square in the middle, and I haven't gone all the way out to the seam allowance because these corner pieces are going to cover that. So as long as I've got that 1/4 of an inch, I'll be fine. So I've cut out this square, which means that I can then come to my lion and actually start to work out what, you know, I want to see his chin, so I can't be up too close, but I do like his ear as well. So, you know, just try and work out where's going to be the best position. I think that's pretty good. That's got all of him in there. Just looking up in here is this corner, and obviously there's a little bit cut out, but it doesn't matter because, as I said, there's fabric going into each of these corners. So I really only need sort of a square that's this shape, but I'm just going to make my life easy for myself. And so I'm going to put my 4.5 inch square over the top of that template, and can use your rotary cutter, but if you use your rotary cutter, then your rotary cutter sort of goes out into the edge of that fabric and then the edge of this fabric, and so if then you decided you needed to use that particular piece of leaf, you might find that you've got cut marks into it. So I use my erasable pen, my air erasable pen. It doesn't last for very long, but long enough to get this cut out. And then I use my scissors. And so there I have my line already cut out that's going to go perfectly in the middle of my square and a square. So I now need to cut 3 others exactly the same, and so I keep that piece handy, pop my piece of fabric back down again nice and flat, and get rid of all the little Swiss cheesy bits. So there I have my new line, and what I like to do is actually place my line on top of my template and start looking for all the registration marks. So, you know, this leaf, this flower, that little bud, you know, I need to come in a bit over here, and this sort of gets you close to where you need to be. May not get you perfectly, so if you were going to perhaps be using this for an EPP repeat, you might want to take a lot of care doing it this way. But look, it's a way of doing it, a way of getting yourself pretty close anyway. So I've got myself fairly close. I'm going to pop my little template out on the top again. and just sort of try and see whether I'm in the wrong spot somewhere. I think that is pretty close. Yep, I think that's going to be pretty close. Might be just slightly on square. So I can do the same again, outline around the outside, manually cut with my scissors. I will go and repeat and do my 4. Now when I was cutting out that first one, it was on an edge where I could just start cutting in from the side. But when you're in the middle and you don't want to make any cut marks in across, the easiest way to do is literally put a fold in your fabric, making sure that that line continues on in a very straight way, and just make a little snip right at the top that allows you to get your scissors in there. And I probably should be using slightly smaller scissors, but it's okay. I am a little bit more fussy and pedantic when I'm cutting out EPP shapes that are going to match up, and so that the particular leaf has to match into the particular leaf here. I do things in a slightly more fussy way, but this is going to be perfectly acceptable for blocks that are going to be inches away from each other, not touching. It'll be visually very much the same, so it'll be nice and easy. So I think that's my last block. There we go, get rid of my Swiss cheese fabric. And there we have my 4 lion blocks. Looking pretty good. So I now need to go and grab my Fat Quarter Shop paper and make my 4 cute little lions in my corners. So I've finished the corner blocks, and I tried this time to fussy place. I've been working hard on improving my forethinking. So I wanted these little center Celtic crosses to be up the right way rather than turning round. So I was just concentrating on doing that. But they're the corner blocks, and I don't know, sometimes I just love looking at just the blocks and going, well, hey, that would look kind of cool too. But yes, so I've done the corner blocks, so time to get moving and working on the center side blocks. So I've just done my flying geese, 4 at a time and oversized, and I've just trimmed those 2 down. And working with stripes as your corner of your flying geese does give you 2 sets where the stripes are that way and 2 sets the stripes are this way, but that's fine, and I'll show you why in a second. I just thought I'd trim up and just show you how easy this block ruler is. It's a bit hard doing it with the camera above. You just turn that around. The beauty though is it means you can move it around because the indentation behind nests into your seams. You don't have to worry about the fact that you've just moved your block and all that sort of stuff. So there's all those little trimmings. So there we have. So then I'm going to have a flying geese on one side, a flying geese on the other side, and 2 flying geeses on the sides of the blocks, and the stripes are all going to go the same way, which makes my little leaning towards OCD heart very, very happy. So here is my fussy cut and foundation paper pieced lion for the side sections here. So I've done my others. So that's the one that goes at the top, that's the one that goes at the bottom, that's the one that goes at the right. And I just wanted to show you how I'm trimming these. So I've still got the papers on. I will take the papers off that next. I've found that if I just use my normal quilting ruler and cut right on that line, that they actually come out just that smidge too small. So I've been using my whatever size ruler, this one's a 4.5 inch, and bringing it right on top, and then bringing my rotary cutter in and very carefully, I can't walk around the table at the moment with all the cameras on. Normally I would walk around the table. And there, don't know whether you can quite see, but we're just outside the line on those, and that is now a perfect 4.5 inch square. So now, that was the one down the bottom, that's the one down that side, that's the one at the top, that's the one out that side. So they're all looking the right direction, and my stripes are all the right direction. And then the rest of this block, the side blocks, are the flying geese. And I've even got those all going in the correct directions as well. Yay! Little happy dance. Okay, so the last bit that to make the block is our centre square, which I've done in this lovely dark green geo. And then we can go and find our little corner blocks, get them round the right way. And that's going to be what my block's looking like, which doesn't quite fit in screen, but I'll show you the full block at the end of the month.